Welcome to Live, Let Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
Of Live,
Let
Thrive. What is up, Myka? Man,
I'm chilling, Stevie Stacks. How you doing?
I am doing, man. Just doing a lot. Doing a lot like yourself, I'm sure. Thank y'all for, hey, we're back, man. We're back. And thank y'all for tuning in to this episode. We will fill in what episode this is. We didn't look that up, I don't think, before the show. We're like, I don't know, somewhere between 300 and 400 episodes.
Straight up, that's where it is.
But we're going to do a lot more. We're going to do a lot more like back in the old days. We're going to hit it every Thursday at least. And this is Live, Let Thrive, your favorite short-term, mid-term, long-term rental podcast in the world, coming at you from Fort Worth and Arlington, Texas. We got some good stuff to talk today because it's been a long time. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. What you been up to, Myka, man?
Man, work, short-term rentals, real estate, 1031 exchanges, getting capability statements ready for the government, everything, man. How about yourself?
Okay, what's that? Capability statements. What's that?
It's what you need when you want to start bidding on government contracts.
Ooh.
So you have to submit a capability statement. So I'm trying to get into government contracting, add on to the midterm rental space, doing that. And then I'm exchanging my properties. I'm doing 1031s on my single families and going multifamily. So yeah, that's been about it, man. How about yourself?
The stack.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's it's funny you should say that because I was listening to Rob Built, Rob Built,
Okay.
Built, yeah. And he's selling two of his very first like tiny homes that got him in the game, and very profitable and all that stuff. It was pretty much sink or swim with those two properties. He went all in, loaded up the credit cards, all the stuff you're not supposed to do. But it's funny, I see a common thread with all these successful guys in this industry. And when we give advice, don't load up your credit cards, don't do that. But a lot of us did that shit. And sink or swim, and we swam, and we became, where we are because of it. Sometimes it takes that killer instinct, man, to shoot that three with the time tick. You trust yourself, you're going to hit that three with the whole crowd looking at you and someone in your face. You know what I'm saying? You just got to trust yourself, like the Black Mamba,
Yes, sir. Mamba.
So sometimes it takes that. So that's what when you get to a point, and I'm at the point too. I want to sell some of my condos at 1031 and get more of what I'm looking for, And currently I'm looking for houses with a swimming pool. And because they do great as short-term rentals, Airbnbs, plus they do great as midterm rentals because a lot of times the people that are, displaced and stuff, they say, hey, we want a house with a pool. They're telling, they're not always going to find that for them, but differentiate my properties from somebody else's properties. The kids will see, oh, it's got a pool. Let's get that one. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's all about differentiating yourself from the pack.
That's a fact, man. I love that. See, you got to be nailed down on your niche. Know what your niche is and go for it, man. I love that, man. Because with all these high interest rates, man, the only way that I see it sustainable, I'm like, I decided to 1031 to multifamily. So I close on May 1st. I sell one of my properties on May 1st. We close, and then I have 45 days to find another one. But I already found two brand new builds, duplexes and triplexes. I was trying to buy something in Texas. I was like looking at Arlington because if you have a multifamily in Arlington, you can short-term rent it, do whatever you want to it. But it's just not. I'm not finding them fast enough. I'm still open to it, but these ones were like right off the bat. We found them, so we're looking to kind of like move into like the multifamily space. And I don't know if I want the duplex or the triplex because the triplexes are 3-2-2s. And these duplexes are rare finds. They're 3-2s on both sides. The duplexes are. I was like, dang, that's a rare find. It's hard to find those. So I'm kind of contemplating between the two. So I'm trying to get my pre-qualification letter so I can submit offers on both of them and possibly even sell another one of my single families. So yeah, it's kind of just time. I think we've been in the game long enough. We got to start moving up. You know what I'm saying, and getting what we want. I like what you said. So yeah.
It's like it's cool because you sell a property. If you look at it like, oh, I took one step back, but then you get a duplex, or that's two
Yeah,
steps forward, one step back, two step forward. You're advancing,
straight up.
and for what we do, it makes sense to do a duplex or a triplex, I would think, because
Yeah.
it's corporate rentals, a lot of times, and yeah, they're not going to live there forever. A lot of
Mhm.
families don't want a forever home to be a duplex or triplex, but someone that's gonna it's a nice, duplex side by side. That's two corporate rentals you can get, making you 5 or 6 grand a month. That thing's doubling up, 10 grand or more a month on one property. As
There you
but a
go.
single family home might make 5 or 6, but that's like two in a row, two side by side.
Straight up. And the thing I love about like the duplex play is, man, is you're moving up, like you're trading one door for two. You basically, you know what I'm saying? So you're getting an extra door, and then it's just that moving up, and then now you're moving into different categories. You start getting to those multifamilies, cash flow increases, start getting more doors. So yeah, I'm excited for it. See, I don't know. I'm kind of torn between that triplex or duplex. I ran the numbers. The triplex would bring about 900 more a month in cash flow. As far as I always run the numbers as long-term rentals. As not as long-term rentals, it would bring like 900 more in. So I'm leaning more towards the triplex, but I'm also looking at like, okay, my target market changes. If I have a 2-2, I'm looking at more travel nurse, the different corporate client. I love the families, so the
Hmm.
duplex is very attractive in that sense too, because the families are always a hit. So,
Yeah, yeah. If that's your target market, definitely. I mean, that's why I look for, of course,
mhm,
3 twos. It has to be a 3 2 for a single family home, of course. But
yeah.
I love fours and fives, or fours with an office that you could turn into a fifth
Yeah.
bedroom. I love that play, man. And
Mhm.
what I'm hearing more and more of, and I used to laugh at this because I told you a long time ago, some dude from Canada reached out to us, and they
Yeah.
said, "Oh, Argus Rentals, y'all do property management. I got this house over here in Arlington, and it used to be a pad split. This is the early days
Ooh.
of pad split, right? And I think I brought it up on this show, but I went to this
Mhm.
house over there in Arlington. And first of all, this guy had never seen this house before. So whoever did, it looked like, man, a blast from the Brady Bunch or something, with nasty ass carpet, with the walls were covered in old ass wall. I mean, it was crazy house, dude. But
Yeah.
he had just got finished doing pad split, and he had a bad experience doing pad split. And I saw, and like you
Mm.
look in the room, every single room, like a room like this ain't even that big. They make it into two rooms, right?
Yeah.
They'll put like a walls. They had walls everywhere, but they had left behind all of the crown moldings from the previous wall. It was
Ooh.
like all jacked up, dude. Because I mean, you could see where the walls used to be. They just ripped them out. And yeah, it was. I mean, they jacked this house. The house is already ugly, but they jacked it up. I was like, man, how many rooms did they get out of this 3 bedroom? And say they got like 8 bedrooms out of this thing, because the master was a big bedroom. So they got like 8 bedrooms out of it, but it kind of turned into a halfway house. And because I mean,
Oh,
people
snap.
they were selling, this 3 bedroom, 2 bath. It was a decent sized house, but they turned it into like 8 bedrooms, right? And so and who's gonna live with 8 or 10 or whatever other people, right? It's gonna be people that don't got no money, they got no choice,
Straight
and you're
up.
not gonna get like the doctors and lawyers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get the professionals. You're gonna get people that ain't got nowhere else to go, so they're gonna rent half of a room or something like that,
Yeah. You're getting
and,
cheaper clientele.
and share 2 bathrooms amongst 10 people. So, anyways, that was my first time I ever heard of pad split, and I went and saw what it was in person. And then this guy was saying that he had, like, druggies actually, messing up things, and getting people getting into fights, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? So that's why he wanted out of pad split. He wanted to turn it into an Airbnb, and I said, well, sorry, you can't Airbnb this house in Arlington because it's outside of the entertainment district. But
Yeah.
so I was like, this pad split thing this sounds like a this is a crazy
Yeah.
situation. But I'm hearing more and more. I mean, I'm sure it evolved. That's probably the early days. And oh, that neighbors all hated that house too. There's like
Oh, yeah.
there's cars everywhere. There's crazy people coming in and out at all hours. So the neighbors hated that, and the city was sending them fines and tickets and all kinds of shit. So it was a bad situation. Now maybe they've cleaned up. Maybe they do it better, because I hear like the bigger pockets guys talk about it, and all these other investors talk about it.
It, it's funny you bring like I have pad split on my notes, and the reason why I do is because I went to the meetup, and it was hosted by these people called Backflip who do hard money. And Pad Split, they sponsored it. So, I was talking to the guys there. I think Pad Split is a perfect thing for high dense areas. In Dallas, the DFW, Texas area, we got so much land. It works, but it's like when you're doing it in an area that's not as high dense, you're going to get crappy clientele. Like here, you get crappy clientele. But I do see the benefit of it in the sense of, like, I will say Pad Split right now, they dominate the nurse market because nurses they don't, like, we ain't trying to rent to nurses because we know the type of pay it is. But a Pad Split, you just start breaking down rooms. You just got a house full of nurses paying you what? Not even $1,000 a month, because they don't want to pay it. So you got what? You break down 5 bedrooms into what? 2 people are living in 5 bedrooms. That's like 10 grand. If they paying like 1,000, you know what I'm saying? So that market, it just depends on the target market. I'm not a Pad Split person because that ain't my target. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, and dealing with all the headaches of different people and this and that, and hey, they left their food this everywhere. They ate my food. I don't want to deal with dorm rooms, But it might be better. It might be better because I'm hearing the big guys talk about it. But then again, they might be getting paid to talk about it.
Also, are you hearing people on Bigger Pockets talk about it?
Well, what's his name? The guy that used to be on Bigger Pockets. Well, both of the guys, Green, Green, and the guy that went to Hawaii. Brandon Turner. He was talking about he's starting a Pad Split. He said.
So this is what I will say that
it might work in Hawaii though. I'll say that.
Yeah, this is what I think. Also, why people like Pad Split, because they run it for you. You're hands off. You're giving them your property. And I think that's probably what they like. For me, I'm like here you said, you walked up in there and they got stuff everywhere. You're like, man, hell no. So so it's like maybe some people like that. Me and you, we're more like not really hands on, but we like to have our cleaners look at the property. They take over the property 100%, which in that scenario, I see the benefit of it, but not for me.
No, it sounds tempting when these guys talk about it. It sounds tempting. I'm like, oh man, I could fit up. But and here's one of the way I heard them talk about it because like a lot of places you can't cram 10 people into a house. It's the city don't allow that, right? No. But the way Pad Split is getting around it, they forming LLCs that these people are a part of, so it's considered like one LLC is staying there, and that kind of counts as like one person. I don't know, it's like a weird way they're skirting the law, and I'm sure it's just like Uber, just like Airbnb, the cities will eventually catch up to that crap. But as far as right now, they can cram a bunch of people in the house, but put them all under like one LLC. So the city really can't say nothing because it says you could fit in a house in let's just say 5 individuals or an LLC or what it says something like that, right? Or an LLC entity. So that's how they're getting around it now. And I'm sure it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna eventually catch up to them. The city's gonna get hip to it, and they're gonna throw that out. But as far as right now, that's how they're getting around that law.
Yeah, because like you said, everybody catches on. They're going to catch on to it, but I don't know. It may work. I think it is going to continue to work in these high dense markets like the Seattles. I think what Green's out there. What, the Bay?
He just moved to Florida though. He just moved to Florida.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So in those high dense areas, it does work, but it just wasn't for me. When I was talking to the Pad Split guys, I was like, yeah, this business model ain't for me. But a lot of people are into it. But yeah, I went to one of their meetups that they were hosting. And they explained exactly what they do. And I'm like, so y'all just take over the property? I'm like, yeah. For a tradition, I'll say this: it's kind of like one of those things. Sean Rackett just says, if you want like a traditional real estate investor, that's a perfect hit for them. Straight up.
And then downtown Dallas, a cool hip area, or downtown or New York. A cool hip area, that's where youngsters will go. Artists, they don't mind all living together and stuff like that. And it used to be, if it was like you'd rent something in New York, that's a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom, whatever, brownstone they call them. And everybody you'd rent a room. But now it's getting so expensive that a room costs a lot of money. So I could see them going in there and pad splitting and making that in one room into 2 rooms and then renting each side of that. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, you put a curtain in between. That was
Real.
You got to do what you got to do, man. But it's just the affordability of housing is just ridiculous, man.
Straight up.
It's gone up so much, man. It's just, I mean, regular price. I couldn't believe a regular price to rent here. A 3 bedroom, 2 bath is like at least is $2,500 is like regular rent, and not even a awesome area or nothing.
And the thing about it is that 2,500 ain't even cash flowing no more.
I don't know. No
Yeah, you got to
taxes and insurance eating that up.
eating it up, bro. That was where I'm torn with coming here. I'm like, I'll cash flow year one, and then I have to, I can still make my money because I'm in a short term renter, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to put myself in that predicament. But yeah, man, it's ugly. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead. I had something to ask you.
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying. Yeah. Well, you go first. I don't want you to forget.
Have you been getting hit up by these federal employees?
Federal employees?
Yeah,
Nah, really.
bro. These people are booking some crazy stuff through VRBO, man. Like I had a federal employee. They booked two of my properties in the same area. One of them, she booked for a month. It was like for that month. No. It was like 28 days. She paid like $5,000. She liked it. She goes, "Hey, we need to book to the end of October." I was like,
Nice.
"Cool,
Nice.
cool with that." But like, with VRBO, you have to pay everything up front. And we're like, "Hey, you have to pay it up front." She's like, "Oh, that's fine." And they work for this company called SatCon or something. And they were like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh, that's fine. I just have to make sure that my CFO can just approve that we can pay through your booking link because we can't pay through VRBO." I was like, "Okay." So then she comes back a day later, and like the reservation till the end of October is like 50 something thousand. And VRBO gives you all that at once. Hasn't gone through yet, right? Next day, a couple days later, she says, "Hey, the other property, we need that one till October 31st as well." Dang, okay. I'm like, "Okay, cool." Sent the link. She goes, "Hey, my CFO will get everything approved." That's 30,000. I'm like, it's 80K off.
Damn.
I know, it's crazy, right? So I was like, okay, dang. So I'm like, they're gonna pay this up front, because I went to shout out to Noble. Shout out to Noble. We got to get him back on the podcast. So I went to his GovCon, right? So what I learned was how government contracts work. They usually do, I think, net 30 to net 90 terms, right? So basically, you got to front, if you're the government contractor, you have to front all the stuff up front. So, like, if you're due to get paid 40K, you're going to get it in 90 days. So, any expenses, you have to front it up front. You got to pay, like, if your expenses are 10,000, you got to have a credit card, cash, whatever to front it. So, I was like, dang, man, like, I never thought about it from this end. Like, man, that's a lot of money that they're willing to dish out and spend. Because, everybody's, I don't want to get political, but, everybody's pissed off Trump's getting rid of all these federal employees. I'm like, and I tell people, man, with him getting rid of all these federal employees, I'm like, that just means everything's going private. I'm like, people are getting these government contracts and they're bidding on them and winning them on sam.gov. So, like, yeah, we got to get Noble back on, but if you know your NISCS code, you can bid on government contracts like through housing, and it's big money. It's big money. So yeah,
NISCS code.
Yeah, your NAICS code or NAICS code. Like if you know that and you register it with sam.gov, I think I used to talk about it all the time. But these properties that I'm talking about, they're right by the Air Force Base.
Oh, you're in Arkansas?
Yeah, and that's where I'm that's where I'm trading out one of the properties because we're talking about. And speaking of like properties that don't do well, we also got to go look at how they're built. Right, this property that I'm selling is a 3-1, 900 something square feet, so it really can't host a family. So I'm like, okay, let me 1031 it, and I had like about 100K in equity in it, so I'm about to 1031 it, and now I can either get the 3-2 duplex or I can get the triplex. So yeah, man, it's federal employees and government contracts, man, they're paying a lot right now. So yeah, definitely check that out because
while they still got jobs, that's it.
No. The people that are getting fired are getting fired. The government contractors is where the money's going.
Oh, the contractors. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
contractors
Cool.
where the money goes. Because I was like, damn, fire some more Trump. No, I'm just joking.
Damn.
But I'm just joking, but no, man, for real. Like, I was like, damn. So they're paying out big money, you know. So yeah, man, it's definitely looking to government contractor. We got to get Noble on. Shout out to Noble for allowing me to go to that event. It was very heavy up in there, man.
Oh man, this is pretty packed. I mean, a lot of people in there.
Yeah. Pretty packed. A lot of heavy hitters. Heavy hitters are in there. Shout out to TJ. Mike Brown was there. Yeah, it was quite a few people, man.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
It's funny you said a 3-1, right? A 3-1 900 square foot.
Hmm.
I got one of those arbitrages there in Arlington, right?
Yeah.
And in a place where you can do short-term rentals. And these you've probably been hit up before. These UFL
Yeah.
football players, the UFL used to be XFL, but now it's
Yeah.
UFL.
I ain't got hit yet.
Okay. Well, if you have properties in Grand Prairie or Arlington, you're gonna get hit up by these guys. And the thing is, they
Yeah.
don't get paid. They don't get paid very much, man. To be to
Yeah.
be in the UFL, they might
Yeah.
get like, man, I want to say like $600 a week. You know, it's not
600 a game. Yeah.
our game. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
But these guys came through, and we're like, it's four guys. You know, they all want to stay in the same spot. You know, and we said, oh, we got some Grand Prairie houses over here, 4 bedrooms. We got king beds and stuff like that. It's a little out of our budget, out of our budget. Well, what about this one? You know, they found the little bitty 3-1, you know, that's more around the 4,000 range, you know, because, you know, it's a cheaper arbitrage. Um, we're like, it's kind of small. You sure you guys would be good there? You know, it's like a
Yeah.
king, it's like I think it's two queens and two bunk beds, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, no, no, it's fine, it's fine. We checked it out, we liked it, we want to rent it. Okay, they're gonna rent it through the whole football season, right? And
Okay.
it's decent money. It's good money for what for that place is. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is like 2,000 a month, little bitty arbitrage. But anyways, so these guys, it's also, I mean, these guys are brothers of guys you've heard of in the NFL. I'm not gonna name the name on the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
podcast, right?
Yeah.
But if I told you the names, you'd be like, oh damn, those, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
brother could have kicked in a little more money and got him a big. I got a better place, man. Those guys got some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the UFL players come through, and I was thinking, man, those for those the little 3-1s, like in certain parts of town, they actually do pretty well.
Hmm.
Actually, because people, little family on vacation don't mind sharing a bathroom. It's like at a hotel. Yeah, I'll share in the bathroom at a hotel,
Yeah.
right? So a 3-1, and you get a little kitchen in there. I was like, dude, I'm gonna snap those little 3-1s up all around Arlington or wherever, and just refurbish them. The refurbish is probably not a lot of money, right?
Hmm.
And then I could have me little bitty 3-1 Airbnbs that pump out pretty good money.
Location, man. That's right there. If you know the location, that hits. See, the ones I had, they weren't in a good location for that. But around Arlington, oh yeah, you could hit that all day. Seeing like how you said, like the USFL, that's another pad split play. Imagine it's what 50 guys on the team. I'm not sure how USFL is, but imagine if you got 5, 6 guys and y'all had a pad split.
No, you're
But
right.
you don't control it though. Pad split controls it.
That's
But if
true.
I was pad split, I'd be on their ass. Like, make sure you market to these people. So, you know what I mean? Because they'll
I,
pay it.
I could put my own walls up, shit.
Hell yeah. For real,
But
man.
um, the crazy part about the UFL, which is formerly XFL,
Yeah.
all the teams are located here. Even the Birminghams, the San Antonios, blah blah blah. They all practice here and stay here in Arlington.
Really?
I don't know why they do that. I guess they go play their games in their respective cities and come back. But I guess to them, maybe the UFL is just cheaper to keep them all in one spot. And I know back in the day, when it was early on, you know, they kind of like would switch out players if a team needed a player, they'd switch them out to this team. Maybe it's something like that because, you know, they have to field these different teams with all these players, and so you know they mix and match. If this team, they might just pull some player from another team and put them on this team, and it helps so they don't have to fly them around the country, right? They're all located here, practicing all their practices here, and then on Sundays they go and play their games in their respective cities. So
Maybe it's because that too, and maybe it's because that stadium's empty. Because they use the little Choctaw Stadium.
Choctaw, yeah, that used to be
Maybe,
Rangers.
yeah, maybe it's because it's sitting empty and they just have a free stadium sitting in Arlington. I don't know. And we're middle of the country, right? So you can fly anywhere real quick. But that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's some good intel.
they all stay here, man. So every single so if you can, well, I'm trying. I told my associate, my partner Manu. I told him to hit up UFL, man. I got to hit him up too and try to get it in. Hey, for your next, whenever your players need a
Yeah.
spot, we got some places for them. And they're big boys, so I'm gonna try to put kings everywhere I can. If it's for that, it's a big dudes, man.
Yeah. So my question is, so if they all practice here, like I mean, they all like where do they practice? Do they practice at that one stadium?
I would
Why?
think, I would think it would be different fields. I mean, because that's just one football field that you fit in that stadium. You can't.
Yeah.
I don't know how many teams it is. Like 8 teams, I think. It's only 8 teams. So
Really?
maybe you could probably practice on a couple fields, 2 or 3 fields,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's an
Okay.
interesting thing. I thought you would think every team is in its own city, but they're all here, all of them right here in Arlington. So
Memphis, Michigan, Arlington Renegades, Houston Gamblers. So it's two right here. Oh, they ain't that far. San Antonio.
yeah,
That's interesting.
like the ones we're hosting are for the Michigan team,
The
but
Michigan Panthers.
they practice here. Yeah, they practice here.
Huh. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a weird deal, like
Yeah.
a little sports bubble.
No, where are all the games played? Are all the games played here? Or no, you said they go to the
I
respective
think
cities,
they
right?
go to respective cities to play
Okay.
their games.
That's interesting. That's
So.
interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I know when XFL, I know we're getting into XFL talk, but when they were first starting, they had like a spare parts team that was just a bunch of dudes that practiced together. When all these other teams had injuries, they'd pull them from the spare parts team and put them on whatever team it was. So,
Makes sense.
and one of my Uber drivers the other day, I went to drop off my car at the mechanic,
Uh-huh.
and one of this it was a black dude. He's real cool. We were chatting. He said, "Yeah, I play in the UFL for whatever team or whatever it was." I was like, "Oh," and he's got to make money somehow. So he's when he's
Yeah.
not practicing, he's Ubering. So yeah,
I mean, got to do what you got to do. That's interesting, though, man. That's what's
yeah,
up.
the hustle, man. They're trying to live that dream.
Dang. So, one thing I did do to my business, and I was going to ask you, have you tried it yet? To like, I've been trying to get my VA to mainly just focus on marketing, and then like fixing up the houses, make sure things in order for the houses. Just I want to move her job to that. Have you? And I ran through this AI called Host Buddy, and man, it's pretty dope. Mike put me onto it, and once I implemented it, man, it takes a little minute, but it goes through all your listings, goes through your past conversations, and it like really does a good job. It's getting a lot of her time back, so where she can just focus on marketing. Just throwing that out there that I have used that. Now I am currently using it. It's pretty dope. It's pretty cool. But if you're like I guess for the OTAs, it's pretty good. Like if you're using for the OTAs, but like other conversations, like calling, emails, and those are the conversations I want her to focus on is calling and emailing, because that's where the big money comes in. But yeah, man,
Hmm.
Host Buddy AI, you can really get your VA's time back and focus on other things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't been too big into the AI. I know my VAs utilized AI, of course.
Hmm.
But myself, I mean, I've tinkered with it a little bit, but I haven't tried implement it into everything yet.
Yeah.
So I'm just a little behind the curve, but I know there's a lot you can do with it, man.
Yeah. It just depends on what you're doing with it. Some stuff I don't have AI for. But the whole, I guess the guest messaging and all that kills it. It kills it with that. I love that. But
Okay.
yeah,
Because
man.
90% of the questions are the same stuff. Wi-Fi, the lock ain't working, it's the same
Yeah.
stuff, the remote control, the TV. It's all the
Yeah.
same things 90% of the time. Every now and then it's something different.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I've got all 3 shifts covered,
Yeah.
24/7 coverage. And we have a great handyman now. We have a few, but we have a great handyman that's always available, man. He's a badass. And
Oof.
so they don't even they just hit him up directly. I said just Jose, let Jose do it.
Mhm.
And let him know what needs to be done. He'll go fix it. He'll go do it, and then we'll sort out the rest. Unless it's like a huge freaking problem or something.
Yeah.
But anything, $100, couple $100, just get it done. And
Yeah.
and I don't get bothered for nothing, man. It's like, I mean, sometimes I look at my messages, they're handling all kinds of things and this and that. I still send out the money, I go
Yeah.
into my bank account and send out the money, whatever invoice needs to be paid or something like that. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I can hand that off to my wife. I don't want to give
Yeah,
my bank accounts to a VA or something. No
yeah.
offense to my VAs, but I'm still doing the money part.
Me too.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the most important part, right? You got to get the money. But I mean, I pretty much I give them the power to handle 99.9% of the situations.
Straight up, man. That's me too. And man, speaking of money, I don't know. Are you implementing profit first or no?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Oh man, so for any of the listeners, if you are implementing profit first, man, it's this thing called sequence banking. Me and Mike implemented it with one of our properties, and then I implemented it with the rest of mine. It saves you so much time, man. You can just create the accounts, and it just like uses AI. You just tell it where to send the money to. It's clockwork, man. So yeah, look into that for anyone who's using like profit first, man. It's like a game changer. They have debt snowballs, how to create debt snowballs and like create your accounts for it. So
What is
definitely
it
check that
called?
out.
What is that other thing?
It's called sequence banking. App.getsequence.com.
Okay, getsequence.com.
Yeah. And you just create your little bucket accounts and man, it's pretty cool, man.
And so is that like a bank though? Get Sequence
Uh,
or Sequence Bank or
Sequence, they use threads. They use threads bank. That's your, so you get a routing number and an account number. You use threads and then you can transfer everything. We transfer everything because we use Wells Fargo over through there. So yeah, man, it's been pretty good.
so Threads is like that's the one the best one to use all the buckets and stuff, right? Threads Bank.
Well, Sequence is partnered with Threads.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, your account's directly with Sequence, but it's a thread. They use Thread Bank for it.
Nice,
So yeah,
nice. Um, yeah, I need to definitely dive into that, man. It's it's been hectic. I just bought a house
let's go.
over there in Grand Prairie, a house with a pool. And
Nice.
I got a pretty good price. I mean, I it was one of those that I saw. I mean, man, I'll tell you this much. It started off they wanted like 385 for it, right?
Hmm.
385K. And I saw it coming and going from the markets. I always kept an eye on it, and then I even toured it a couple times, and then it went off the market. It went off the sites, the Zillows, and then it came back and it said price reduced all the way down to 320. I mean, it just dropped, dropped, dropped.
Oh,
And I went, the area is nice. This area where I have, my house is over there, and but I, I mean, it's a nice 2,000 square foot, and it has that pool, like I said. And so I told my agent, let's offer him, whatever. I think we offered him like 305, and then we met at 315 plus 8,000 concessions. So I got a pretty good deal
ooh, yeah,
on the house and closed it DSCR loan.
yeah.
I do those. You do the DSCRs?
Yes, I have one under. No, no, no. I don't have any under DSCR right now. I was doing one. I went back to my job, so I was doing one, but I went back to my job, so I haven't done as DSCR yet. But
Okay.
this triplex or duplex will definitely be DSCR.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, once you get to that point where you're doing the DSCR loans, is sweet, man. It's a
Yeah,
lot easier process. All they care about really, well, they care about your, if you got money and if you
yeah,
know
yeah.
what you're doing, of course, your business and all that and your income. But they care if the property is going to profit. That's the key. That's the
Yep,
key to them. They say,
yep,
okay, your mortgage is going to be, 2,300 a month. And this area, this house as a long-term rental is going to be 2,500 a month. So yes, it's going to profit. So we'll approve the loan, and it's like a quick process, man. And so once you get to that point where you're doing business type loans, and then of course you
yep.
put every house under its own LLC. That's what I'm doing now,
Mhm.
and because that saves you, it helps protect
For
you. Of
real.
course, if something happened at that house, they can sue the LLC for all the money that's in it, and maybe there's not it's just going to be that house inside that LLC.
Yeah.
Saying. So it's just stuff that rich people have been doing forever that we're getting hip to now.
Yeah. Cause yeah, I'm definitely once I start getting into these multifamily plays, I gotta have everything under a DSCR loan and under different LLCs. Cause that's oh crap. That's definitely what I need. So
Oh, something happened.
at my job. But yeah, um at the 9 to 5. But yeah, it's
So I got the house with the pool,
yeah.
and it helps now because I know how to take care of pools because I got a pool. You know, it took me a couple years to figure it out. So this it doesn't intimidate me, and I'm at the point I'm thinking, man, pool guys they charge so much money. You know, it's
Yeah.
at least $225 a month for them to
Mhm.
go like once a week, throw some powder in your pool, and then pull some leaves out and then call it a day, you know, for like for let's say they work probably 30 minutes in a whole month and they make $1,000. That's a pretty good, you know,
Yeah.
$1,000 for 30 minutes of work. But but if you know how to do the pools yourself, it helps. I know you're supposed to pass off all those things, but right now I'm just gonna hop into it. And if they're looking good, they really don't need a lot to them. If you
Yeah.
once you learn how to do these things, like I said, once a week I can knock out the pools. But or as Micah would do, go form your own pool company and then pay yourself, right?
Man, it's funny. It's funny you said that. I got something. Man, it's so funny you said that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that was the idea.
So okay, so it's funny you were saying that. So me and Mike Brown, we kind of have that similar business drive. So we have a property together, and the problem is this: the property, we're having issues with trash, right? So it's up in Richardson, and Richardson has the stupidest trash pickup I've ever heard. So, you know how most peak trash places, you take the bin to the trash, right? They don't pick up like that. You have to manually take the trash cans out of the bin and walk them to the curb on trash day and drop them on the curb, and they come pick up the trash. But you cannot put trash out. You can only put the trash bags out the morning of pickup. So I'm like, okay. So we had this company doing it for us. The company falls off. After the company fell off, we're now in a situation where we're having to find someone. And the company was only doing it for $35 a month, right? So we were winning. Now we're trying to rehire some people, and they're all charging like $50 per pickup. So that's like $200 extra a month. So me and Mike were sitting there. He was like, why don't we just start our own company doing this? Like in the summertime, you just get some interns to go do it. You pay them X amount, you give them 10 doors, and you paying them $50 a month per door. That's $500 a month. I don't know if they would do it, but yeah, I always think like that, like, hey, why don't we start a business out of this? But sometimes just like, dang, man, so that's actually a bind we're in right now. We're trying to find someone to do the trash takeout.
So Can Monkey can't do it for y'all.
Nah, man, they're the ones who quit.
Oh,
They need volume. Yeah.
and Richardson ain't providing it, huh?
Nah, bro. And how Richardson takes out the trash is just ridiculous, man. I didn't know they would like that. You have to physically take bags to the curb. I'm like,
That's how Grand Prairie
is
is
it?
that way too. You put the trash bags right on the curb. You don't wheel out the carts. You get
Then what do
one
they supply them for?
you get a recycling thing. That's it. But you don't get a trash thing. All the trash you just gotta set it on the curb where the cats and
That's
dogs can tear
crazy.
it up.
That's exactly so. See, and what happens is that's why they don't allow you to bring it out because that was the problem. You know what? It was like that in Arlington when I first moved here, but now you have a bin for each. But they stopped that pretty quick with me living here. You have to have a bin. That's crazy, man. So that's
Yeah.
a dilemma. Any of our listeners, they got any ideas or got a kid that wants to make some money in Richardson, holla at us.
I'm in Richardson, man. I got a house there. But
You do?
yeah, and I talked to Mike Brown about he mentioned y'all's house and y'all's situation, and I was like, and he mentioned why it was really vital for you guys because apparently there's a neighbor that don't really like y'all too much doing short term or midterm rentals there. So
Yeah.
they call the city on every little freaking thing, which sucks because I've never had. I mean, knock on wood, my Richardson house, I've never had issues like that. The people just put it out there. It's no big deal, but. I hear that this lady's peering out her window and seeing it. Oh, it's 6:59. They're putting it out at 6:59. Call the city. It's like
It is, bro. You always got them Karen. I always tell people you got them Karens up on the north side, man. Anything, anything north of 30 in the DFW, you dealing with the bougie people. But
I'll tell you a score that I got, man. It is another house in Grand Prairie. I saw it pop up. beautiful 2-story house, right?
Yeah.
And this thing's probably worth maybe about 450 or so. Fully
Okay.
furnished, nice furniture, for more better than I would do. Had like leather furniture and all kinds of stuff. Two
Ooh.
living rooms, 3 beds, 3 baths, and it had a badass pool outside in the back.
Okay.
And they wanted this. They put it up for rent for I think it was 2,900 a month.
Okay.
And so I was looking at my numbers. I was like, man, I make, my regular 3 2s, 4 2s, I can pull in like 5 or 6 grand a month pretty easy doing
Easy.
corporate, right?
Hmm.
This thing has a nice pool and it's bigger, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I was like, I hit him up and I talked to them and the owner agreed to, okay, yeah, we can let you do that subleasing thing.
Okay.
Um, and so I picked up the house. It was already fully furnished and everything. I just got a good deep clean in there and got some supplies and stuff and checked the pool out. Pool was good and did whatever, put the lock and everything. And then like instantly I got the photos done, right? Instantly got an
Yeah.
Airbnb booking for a month, not even a month. It was like over $7,000 on Airbnb. I was like,
Oh.
I didn't even do nothing, man. The house was already ready. I had to
Yes,
pay for
sir.
the deposit and the first month's rent, well, no problem. But that's anywhere. But I didn't have to go pay $30,000 for furniture. This type of furniture is more like
Yeah.
around 30,000 range. Not, we could do a house probably around 10, maybe,
Yeah.
less or more.
Hmm.
But this one was decked out like a nice living, like a house you live in. So that
Yeah.
was a good score, man. I was like, and this is all happening while I was closing on the house that I was buying, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And while they're doing their thing and doing the whole mortgage thing, I'm over here like, dude, I'm not gonna just sit still. I went and picked up like 2 arbitrages while
Let's
that whole thing
go.
was going on, and I was like, man, that's the only thing. I know people are pro or anti arbitrage, but the thing is, if I see a house, it's nice, the numbers work. I just go sign a lease like right now and start plug it in and make money the same day. Or
Can.
before I even signed the lease, I already got it shopping it around.
I love that. I love how you got it already furnished. That's a hit
That's
right there. That's
that's
the
what
key.
yeah, yeah.
This guy who's buying my house is winning because I'm giving him all the furniture inside of it.
Oh, for free.
And that's why it sold so quick.
Yeah, it's like it's
'Cause,
staged. It's nice. It looks good.
um funny, now my realtor's texting me. So yeah, she's texting me about that triplex. But
Nice. Hope you get
what
it.
yeah, me too. The thing about it is like, what was I gonna? I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about houses that come fully furnished.
Yeah. So I only this days on market in this market that I'm selling is like 60, right? We had that thing on the market probably a month just because it was fully furnished. She goes, they wanted it because it was fully furnished. I mean, she goes, I've been showing them other houses, but they see something that's fully furnished. It's like you can visualize it, right? Oh, this is how you would set it up. So it's like an immediate selling point. So I do tell people it is easier to sell a house that was a short term rental that was already fully furnished, and they paid the listing price. They offered the listing price fully furnished. And then there's a couple of things we have to pay at closing because it's a VA loan. So, the VA doesn't allow them to pay for certain things. But I was like, cool, got a couple things fixed and we're moving.
Well, that's the advantage of turning your house into a short-term
Yeah.
rental corporate because you do fully furnish it. You tastefully most of the times, and it's proven that staged houses sell better than
Yeah.
empty houses.
Facts.
You know,
That's a
and
fact.
so it's not only okay. Back in the day, you had to rent the furniture, to stage a place, right? You had to pay
Mhm.
someone to go in there and design it and put all the furniture in it and then stage it. And then and you'd pay them every single month that you'd have it in there until you sold the house. But
Yeah.
being that it's a Airbnb short-term rental, mid-term rental is making you money. The furniture's making you money, not taking your money.
Yeah.
So and you already got all your use out of that furniture anyways, right? For doing
Straight up.
it's already been paid for.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the only thing is, I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to refurnish the other place. But I'm like, I want brand new furniture in there anyway because it's these duplexes and triplexes I'm trying to close on. They're brand new builds, right? So I want to go in there looking fresh. I want it to be nice, get it fresh, and then just go, man. So yeah, man, it's been interesting. Been interesting. I'm waiting to get this thing closed on May 1st. So I'm gonna rent it for a month when they're closing. So April 1st, I'll rent it that whole month, see how much money I can make, and go from there.
Nice, nice. Yeah, oh, it's raining outside.
Yeah, no, yeah, I got rain. Yeah, it is. The weather's been crazy, man. It was 90 degrees yesterday.
No, man. Yeah, it's been up and down, but I was putting a lot of stuff on here, man. I was just driving and then talking into my notes all the different topics. I love notes, man. Uh, one thing is all right, these tariffs that are about to hit. What are your thoughts on these tariffs that are about to hit and how it's going to affect what we do?
Furniture that's brought in from overseas, or yeah, it's gonna have an effect. It's gonna have an effect. I'll say this: we always find a way to make bargains, right? We This is what we do. It just makes it a little harder. That's all it is. Once the tariffs hit, they hit. We that's why we got to diversify our portfolios. Get the government contracts, get the corporate rentals, the midterms, find the people that need housing, and just go from there, man. The government's gonna do what the government's gonna do.
That's true. One thing that I had thought of just
Okay.
okay, this tariffs. We can say what you will. I'm not a fan of them, but I did
Yeah.
read Trump's Art of the Deal. I read his book, right? And the dude knows business. He's a smart business guy. I mean, he got himself put in the White House twice. I mean, that's just, and that's not even back to back at two different times. But no, but branding. No, there's no bigger brand than what he's created. You know what I'm saying? And so, but he's a smart dude, smart business guy. And I'm like, why the hell is he messing around with these tariffs? As a business person, why would you want to raise the prices on everything you're going to buy, right?
Hmm.
But I kind of can't bet against him. I don't know if he's gonna level the playing field and even out all the tariffs in the whole world because there's been like a big deficit. But anyways, whatever you think about that, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. But one thing I am thinking about in the short term, it's going to be a lot of higher prices on everything, and we're already high under inflationary
Yeah.
times. But it's going to be higher prices on everything because of the tariffs. Like you said, anything coming from outside the United States is going to be, that 25% tax on top of the tax that's already on top. So the tariff is like a tax. And those companies ain't going to pay it. They're going to pass it on to us.
Straight up.
But anyways, so people are already feeling the squeeze, just how the economy is, and then you're
Yeah.
gonna add a giant 25% on top of that. I see, if anything, that's beneficial towards what we do, and all of our rentals are within the United States, right?
Yeah.
People probably ain't gonna do no European travels as much as they've been doing, or going to Mexico or going to Canada or whatever. These outside the country travel is gonna cost, a bit more money than going to San Antonio. You know what I'm
Straight up. No,
saying?
you're
So
right.
I think if anything, it might benefit us in that sense. People are gonna be doing more staycations and going checking out cities in within the United States where they could drive to
Hmm.
or they can do short hops to, you know what I'm saying? Because they can't afford that European vacation anymore. As far as right
Yeah.
now. I'm sure
That's a fact.
it might get all sorted in the future, but as far as right now, it's been so weird. They've been pumping so much money into our economy to keep this depression or recession from happening. It's just put us on real shaky ground, man. The whole thing just feels real shaky.
Yeah, it is. So I'm kind of, that sounds like, dang, if I go ahead and get these houses that are new built, they ain't supposed to be done till June. I was like, let me get them under contract now. So if they need any extra material, let me get them under that contract now, and then they get done with the house, and we can move forward. Because yeah, it's coming. I mean, we just have to play it by ear, and we keep on pushing like we always do, man. It's
I'm
the mind.
pushing.
We got that mindset, man. LLT, live, let. What's the most important part? Thrive.
Drive.
Keep on thriving.
And then real quick before we hop off, and
Go ahead.
this really hit me pretty hard was because um I had been we've been preaching on the show for a
Yeah,
while that having a side hustle of some sort is not a luxury anymore. It's pretty much, to me, I see it as a necessity.
I agree. Go ahead. I
And
agree.
I've thought this for a while.
Hmm.
And I see people go to work, and sometimes the thought crosses my mind. Wow, they just go to work and then they clock out and do whatever they don't have to think about work. Blah blah blah, and they get that paycheck and they're good. Everything's whatever. But we're out here after work hustling, before work hustling, during work hustling, and I'm like, are we doing this wrong? And then I think, no, we ain't, because I mean, okay, you saw what the whole Doge thing, all these federal employees getting fired left and right, and it's like federal, you don't get fired from federal jobs. Those things are for life, right? But no, that this they thought their job was safe. And what hit me really hard is recently, my brother, who's never been without a job in his whole life, got laid off from his job, right? And but
Ooh.
that's the sad part. I mean they're in a good spot, they the wife works and everything, and they're in a good place. They're not like struggling, but he's freaking
Yeah.
out because he's never been without a job. And when you get to your 50s, you're not looked at first to get a job. They want some young dude in their 20s that they can pay half the money, to do whatever you were doing. And so all that being said, the he had been talking before he got laid off about, oh man, I want to do my own thing. I want to try my own business like you do and this and that. And of course, you give people all the information. You give them everything. They're probably not going to do nothing. 99.99%. They're not going to do nothing with it. But you still, yeah, I'll talk to you. I'll talk your ear off over this business for as long as you want me to. I love talking about it, and I'll tell you what to
Yeah.
do. You should do it. You should do it. Why not do it? And then, of course, he didn't do it,
Mhm.
and he gets laid off. And he's like, man, I said, well, see, that's why I say it's not a luxury to have some kind of side. Even if you would have got one rental property or two or whatever it
That's
was,
all it takes.
it would have been helping you, and you wouldn't have been stressing. But you get laid off and you don't have anything going on, you know what I'm saying? And then you want to start something while you get laid off. I say, yeah, start something while you're getting laid off, while you get that unemployment for a year, do something with it. But then it's just, it a paycheck's like crack, right? It's like crack. You start fiending, and then he
Handcuffs.
lasted like a week, and he starts sending out applications again. I just got to get it. I just got to get back into get my crack back. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get my
Get my
sorry,
crack
sorry,
back.
itching. And that's the thing. People, it's too late. Once you get laid off or fired or whatever it is, it's too late to go, oh, now I'm going to start a business. To us, it's not too late because our mindset's different. But to most people, because they're just going to want to get something as fast as they can, get back into that slow drip.
It's funny you say that, man. Remember, we've been doing this podcast since damn what 2017, 2017,
Yeah, long time.
and it's crazy. Like we've gone through different phases. Remember, I got laid off before, right? And I told you I walked out the job smiling because I knew I had income coming in. I had a business on the side. Um, it's funny. Me and my coworkers, me and two of my coworkers, were talking about this. Like, bro, it's almost a necessity to have a business and have that side income. Not only because of getting laid off. The reason why I like having a business, and I've learned this, it puts you in a different mindset. It puts you in that mindset of resilience, right? You got to keep going, finding something else, and you having to educate yourself. Like you talked about earlier, you put in your business, your houses and LLCs, and this stuff that rich people been doing for a long time. We just getting hip to it, but you learn that stuff along the journey, right? And you learn different tax cuts, tax codes. You start understanding what that W-4 is when you're filling it out. Like, oh, I can manipulate this now that I have a business. I can write. People don't really understand that. They rather sit back, like you said, not have the side hustle, but complain every time something comes down the pipeline from the government. Like you could do something about it. They don't want to. They want to complain. So I fully agree with you, man. Like I think it's a necessity to have a business. I don't care. I tell people this: whatever it is that you like to do, that you do for free, everyone says they can't buy a house. Whatever it is that you spend your money on, find a way to make money off of it.
Mm.
If you like nowadays, if you sit up and play video games all the time, start streaming it and make some money off of it. I don't care what it is you do. If you like to go jog all the time, go record it while you're jogging and like build a following. You know what I'm saying? It's so many ways that people can get paid, and like go listen to Gary Vee every day, man. He talks about it,
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, just throwing that out there.
And yeah, no matter what it is, what a crazy the idea you got, try it. And while you
Yeah.
have a job, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
while you have a job.
It's always you're fired and you need money. Then you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna be a influencer." Nah, it might not work out so
Yeah.
quickly. You know?
Speaking of business, because I'm gonna throw this in there because we were supposed to record a long time ago. When the Luka Doncic trade happened.
Oh
And,
yeah.
what I want to bring up is I'm gonna kind of relate this to business. You have to have a vision, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, it was so crazy. They shouldn't have traded him." But I'm like, if you actually looked at Nico's vision, his vision was on point. His vision was to build a defensive team. If you actually look at that team when they were all together and healthy,
oh man,
they were dangerous
for
they
3
were
quarters.
dangerous.
For 3/4, I was like,
quarters.
oh shit,
they were dangerous. Yeah, and I seen it. Like when I seen him, like, okay, he's getting Anthony Davis. He has Gafford. He has Lively. He has Kyrie bringing the ball up. I'm like, oh, he's building a defensive team. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be dangerous. And you see it. Nobody wanted to see the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs with that size, that length, that defense, and the offense. You have Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. So my whole point is, don't be afraid to take a big swing. That's what it is. Somebody going to talk about you. Somebody going to laugh. Oh, this guy was this. Remember, the coward is always on the sideline judging the hero who decides to get in the game. So the guy who's sitting there, oh, well, who was wrong? The vision was on point. You might not hit a home run every time. It might fail, but you took the chance and you're going to learn something. So that's what I wanted to say about the Luka Doncic trade. I will say this. If everybody would have stayed healthy, the Mavs would have won that trade. Hands down.
It's looking like that now. It's looking like that now.
Yeah.
Because especially Lakers been struggling a little. But
Luka don't play defense, bro. And it's showing. Like, he just doesn't play defense. I mean, and it was funny. I talked to a couple of people that actually listen to the podcast that are Lakers fans, and they were like, shout out to Richard. He was like, man, I don't like Luka. And I was like, oh, damn, you don't like him? He goes, I don't want him. He goes, he doesn't play defense. But a lot of people know that. But I think Dallas is a city that's like not used to winning championships, that we get caught on something. We're like, no, let's just hold on to Luka. But it's like, y'all lost the finals because he just wouldn't play defense, right? Like, and Boston's gonna D your ass up. You ain't gonna win against them with Luka. But I understand it because Luka's he's a hell of an offensive player. You can't take that away from him. The dude will give you 30 points, 10 assists, and 4 steals. So, but yeah, it's one of those situations. Don't be afraid to take big swings. Shout out to Nico. My Lakers have Luka, so we're good.
That's why you love Nico.
So we're good for the next 10 years.
Yes, sir. Well, cool, man. Well, thank you all for joining us and listening to us ramble a bit. Where can people find us, Myka?
Find us on Instagram at LiveLetThrive. Find us on TikTok at LiveLetThrive. Email us, I think, was it liveletthrive@gmail.com?
Yeah, we use that one mostly.
Yeah, liveletthrive@gmail.com. And yeah, we're going to be bringing these back weekly, man. We just both been busy. Steve's having babies. I'm trying to buy houses, and getting settled with my daughter. So yeah, man, we're going to be back. Sorry it's been taking so long, but we're back. Yeah,
we're back, baby.
Yeah, we're back. So we are out.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.